Globalization. Global economy, which allows for capital to move beyond national borders and avoid the norms and the rules that pertain to the rest of us. Global capital today has no home. Its patriotism is profit. Our challenge is to bring our democratic norms to a global economy, regulating financial capital, tax havens, offshores, dealing with cross-border phenomena that are increasingly beyond our national control, our capacity to manage, whether it's drug or human trafficking, whether it is refugees, or whether it is climate change. Finally, the fifth challenge is one of rethinking and reinventing democracy in a time of globalization and new technology. How do we have democracy beyond borders in a way that will allow for legitimate representative decisions for a larger planetary public good, as Kemal alluded to in his speech? Our democracies have traditionally been based on a common identity in our nations, a basis for solidarity. So the question is also, how can we have democracy in an ever more diverse society? How can we unite people, citizens, in solidarity with each other when we have to bring people together, different minorities, multicultural societies, migrants, overcome religious differences, and not have those issues divide us, but diversity be a true richness and a unification. But a unification which can be based on a different patriotism. A patriotism, and that's a question for our movement, can our patriotism become a patriotism towards a set of global values, transcending borders? I will paraphrase Elio Di Rupo. We cannot have a global market without global values. We need values, norms, and regulation to, for example, protect our citizens when the internet, the World Wide Web, is used as a big brother, spying on us all. How do we ensure that technology is globally used to empower our citizens rather than imprison our citizens? How do we guarantee social justice and social contract, a basic bargain? These are the things that we, our movement, have guaranteed in our nations traditionally. We have guaranteed that collective bargaining between employers and employees and the state would guarantee that we share from the wealth and therefore ensure that everyone has basic health and education and pensions and welfare and labor standards. But global capital has escaped our national borders. So who do we bargain with? Our challenge is how we will guarantee that our global economy respects the values of equality, social cohesion, security, and basic standards of labor and environment. So the question is socialism still relevant in the 21st century? Can we really make a difference? Can we mobilize to bring about the respect of these basic values that are so badly needed both at the national and global level? I, of course, will say yes, we can, and yes, we must. Socialism is not only relevant, but it is more so than in the past, because today what is at stake is global peace and the existence of our civilization. And we have always pushed for a progressive alternative to global governance, new policies that can humanize, democratize globalization. We have come up with many innovative proposals, from more representative global institutions to other ideas such as the financial transaction tax, the CO2 tax. But such projects are an uphill battle. Our power is when we unify progressive, democratic, socialist forces around the world. Our power is to give a real voice, a real sense of empowerment to our citizens. Because inequality, concentration of wealth, the complexity of the financial system of too big to fail or really too big to be accountable to our societies, creates a frustration, a sense of impotence, which has alienated our citizens from politics, and particularly our youth from democratic politics. And of course, has fed extremism and violence. I was shocked only a few days ago when I read the report from Transparency International, which was looking
United Nations Secretary General, Mr. Ban Ki-moon. Today, as a consequence, close to 5 million Syrians are internally displaced according to international humanitarian organizations and agencies, and almost 2 million are refugees in neighboring countries. More than 1 million of them are now in Lebanon. The fierce retaliation by the regime, paralleled by unprecedented indifference from the international community, and I repeat again, unprecedented indifference from the international community, has led to the growth of extremist elements and groups who are trained, helped, supported, and financed by several Arabs and regional powers, which also facilitated their entry into Syrian territories at the expense of the original national aspirations and demands of freedom, democracy, and dignity, which gave the Syrian regime the pretext that it's fighting extremism at the expense of the Syrian rightful demands. Having said that, and as Syria has been gradually dragged into civil turmoil, only way